I'd like to say good afternoon, good evening really to everyone, and welcome to the Columbus Municipal School District's Board of Trustees regular meeting. It is June 13th, and it's approximately 6 o'clock. This meeting is officially called to order. We do have a full quorum today. We have with us to my left, Dr. Cynthia Brown, Mrs. Talisa Young. To my right, Dr. Joe Shoemake, and Mr. Fred Sparks, and myself, Yvonne Cox. Thank you all for attending the meeting with us, ladies and gentlemen. According to policy BCBFA, we'll move on to the invocation by Dr. Joe Shoemake.
Pray with me, please. Gracious Heavenly Father, you are always more ready to hear than we are to pray, and to give more than we either desire or deserve. Mercifully receive the prayers of your servants who call upon you, and grant that we may know and understand what things we ought to do, and that we may also have the grace and power to faithfully accomplish those things. Make us ever mindful and worthy of our responsibilities and of the trust which the community has placed in us. Set us free to serve with love and compassion. Give us grace to put away ourselves and purify our intentions, that we may be fit for your service.
Yes, Lord.
Through Jesus Christ, your Son, who lives and reigns with you in the Holy Ghost, one
Yes.
God, now and forever. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Please stand for the pledge. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. We're moving on to item 3, adoption of our agenda, which is policy BBB, policy BCBD. At this time, I would like to make a motion to move upon approving this agenda to remove item number 9, B2, consideration and a discussion to approve CMSD 2023 salary schedule, and add this item to our board's budget meeting, which is June 15th, 2022. Requesting a second.
So moved.
The second is made by Mr. Sparks. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Thank you. Moving right along, we're at item 4, requesting a motion for close determination of executive session, policy BCBK.
So moved.
The motion is made by Mrs. Young. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Oh, I'm sorry.
So moved.
Yeah. We good.
That I did.
It's just one motion, no second. Okay, we good. Okay. All right. Right now, the board is in consideration for executive session. We'll be out in a moment to tell you our items. Moving right along. Moving to the next item, Board of Education, item 7, Board of Education, Policy BCBD, consideration to approve minutes. Board requesting a motion to approve number 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the minutes.
So moved.
The motion is made by Mrs. Young, requesting a second.
Second.
Second by Dr. Shoemake. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Moving on to item B, District Trustee District Review, the district travel. Dr. Brown, would you like to share with us anything?
Can I share in the special meeting? It was a really great conference, and there was a lot. I always enjoy Mr. Keith, and he gave
Yes.
us the issues current and coming, and that was probably the best thing that I enjoyed. I enjoyed everything, but that was
Everything.
really good.
That's good to know, because he will be presenting at basically all of the conferences that we attend. It's good that you did enjoy that. We're moving on to item number 2. Thank you very much, Dr. Brown. Moving to item 2, discussion and consideration for the capital improvement plan for CMSD. Mr. Little, how you doing this evening? Doing fine,
Good,
sir.
thank you.
As far as on our list, it should be. Yeah, it's lit up. I just need to move a little closer. Y'all hear me? As far as on our list for the capital improvement, we still have few little things on here. The smart security for the CHS McKellar, that is for the intercom system. We've got the module in. I've scheduled with them. I think they'll be here either Thursday or Friday to finalize that, and then they're going to go through all the classrooms and speak to make sure, because their 1-year warranty is about to be up on their part of the installation, so we're going to do a final run through to every classroom. We're going to talk to every classroom and make sure everything is working good on that, and we will have this final module hooked up and everything, so we should be finishing that up sometime this week or next. The number 4 on here, it's also smart security for the Franklin Academy. That was for the cameras. They have completed that since I sent this in, so we can scratch number 4 off. J. Morgan, they'll soon be starting on the woodwork at Franklin Academy, replacing the rotten wood that we have there. And I was also asked at the last meeting to everything that we have on the parking lots and things like that for Ms. Brown, so she could look at and get kind of caught up on where we've been, what we have done, and what we're planning to do. So I sent everything that I had to y'all, and I also went around and got up on the roofs and started, I'm moving the roofs now. Got up there. I mean, we have everything for parking lots. If you have any questions on that, I can answer that. But I got up on the roofs and I took pictures, and y'all should have all the pictures. I took a picture of Fairview, which is the last roof that was put on, probably, I'd say 5 to 6 years ago, maybe. I took several pictures of it. Then I went to the high school, to Joe Cook, and just took several pictures. So y'all should have those pictures in there also. And I called around to get the square footage price is steadily going up on roofs. The ballpark figure now is $32 square foot. And you should have a printout. I went through and the square footage that I have for each school, you know, did that, so those prices should be there. Y'all should have that on there also. I have spoken with, I can't remember his last name, Zach, with Neil Schaefer. We have emailed back and forth several times about starting a new bid process, as we spoke of last time, with the high school being first, parking lot. I'm back on parking lots now. The high school parking lot being number one, and then breaking the football area up into 3 sections like we did last time. But we will put the high school down as number one to be done. So once I get something from him, I'll, maybe next month or something like that, I'll have some more information on putting that out for the bid process again. I know I sent y'all a lot this month. I hope y'all got to look at it. Has anybody got any questions on? $16 to $20, I think.
And I just want to piggyback on what Dr. Dito said. We're spending an extraordinary amount of money with ESSA 2 and ESSA 3 for projects within the building, but fixing the building and the roof is not fixed. So if you fix windows, we know how construction works, and the roof is not fixed, then what's going to happen to the windows if you fix them? I mean, if you fix them first and not the roof, right? Everybody knows the foundation is unsettled, the windows will eventually. So we just need to think comprehensively about like prioritizing, and I think the high school is the first big project because it's so big, and it will cost us the most amount of money if we continue to wait. I'm very concerned about inflation getting even worse before it gets better from all the economic news I've read. So it could be 32, it could be 40 by the fall if we're thinking about, and I know Holly isn't looking at how much money we need to borrow, or we're looking at our ESSA 2 and 3 funds, we're going to put it in that application, but I think before we continue to fix the inside, that these roofs are going to be a priority, and they are in our application. Holly, did you want to update anything with that?
Is that something, can I ask something real quick? Is that, while we're doing our budget meetings, I know we have one this week, but not for this one, but maybe the next one, since Taylor and Mr. Little will be meeting. Is that something that can be added into that budget hearing for us to actually look at the Columbus High School roofing situation in detail? We can do that? Yes, ma'am, thanks. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Very much.
Understood. Yes, sir. Understood. Mm-hmm. Next budget meeting. We haven't scheduled that next budget meeting, have we? Okay, so that's probably something that we should consider doing. Do you have a tentative date? You don't? Okay. Get a hinge on that. Okay. As soon as we can go on and schedule that, and then it will be after Mr. Little and Mr. Gill have an opportunity for all of you all to come together with it again. All right. And we can just add that in that budget meeting. Good, thank you. Board, Dr. Schumake?
Yeah, this is for my clarification. On the list of roofs, you've got number 5 is Fairview Elementary School, and it says new roof.
Mhm.
So I read that and I assume everything's okay.
Yes. That was
Then we've got new roof, you've got pictures of it.
I'm showing you what a new roof should look like
Oh, okay,
versus.
because I know we had some.
Versus what the roofs we have, you know, we discussed one time getting on a roof, you said you wasn't gonna get up there.
Okay, no,
So
I
I
just,
took pictures.
okay,
The
that's fine.
pictures are really, do not do the justice of actually looking at it.
Mhm.
But I took pictures of several, and if you see off to the right, I kind of wrote on the side of what they are and where they are.
Yeah,
on
no, I
those.
understand, I
Okay.
understand that. I kept seeing that,
I
and I
just
wondered if
took, I
there's
took a
something wrong
picture of
with
it because I wanted a fresh look at how a roof is
Okay.
supposed to look, and then look at what we actually
I
have.
know we
at
had
the- at
some
the other
leaking in the
jobs.
school, but I guess that got fixed
Yes,
after the new roof had been put
Yes.
on. Okay, thank you.
yes, ma'am. Also, the maintenance department has moved into the new building with transportation, I guess, 2 weeks ago.
Okay, that's great.
We have talked about an open house for people to come through and look at everything that's going on. So if you can make it, we're looking at June 23rd at 5:30 to come do a walkthrough and see the facilities that we have over there now.
Maintenance building walkthrough.
June 23rd at 5:30. Are there any more questions for
No,
me?
sir, I have that noted. Thank you very much.
All right. Good evening.
Uh-huh. Okay. Next, we have item 3, discussion. Oops, I'm spinning over here. Discussion of the hunt recovery. Yes, sir.
Only thing that, Taylor did say was he did have a one-on-one person that's working with him to get through the CDR, which is that, working on that, paperwork again to reallocate funds.
All right, thank you. Board, do you all have any questions? Oh, Dr. Schumake?
Do they have a date for when they're actually going to meet face-to-face, or? Okay,
Once he gets back, he'll probably be in touch with the, fellow, I think his name is Kevin, but once he gets back, he'll set that date and, keep you posted.
Okay. Moving right along to item number 4, contract renewal updates. Board, having reviewed and read over this, do you have any questions or comments concerning CMSD contract list? Yes, ma'am.
just a quick question. The contract with Reconstruction for after-school programs to enhance classes at the high school, it doesn't have any dates. Is that just an oversight?
It's just for summer school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was a $600 contract for summer.
Okay.
So that's at the high school.
And I'm glad to see the Wonder Grove Media back. I hope now that COVID recedes into the background, we'll be able to do some more great things with that.
Yeah, and they've been working, we've just been easing back into the program, getting kids acclimated and trying to give our students more exposure to it. It's also a part of our summer program.
Great, thank you.
Moving on to item 5, consideration and a discussion to approve our board attorney's contract extension, requesting a motion to approve.
So moved.
The motion is made by Mrs. Young, requesting a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Sparks. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Thank you very much. Moving on to item C, goal updates, policy BA. We're looking at the student attendant records. Board, if you have any question of comments or anything that you'd like to make, since I'm reading, would you just please say I do real quick so I can hear you, okay? The student attendant report. Moving on, school safety reports. We're looking at the student discipline reports. That's for the high school, the monthly and the annual that you've had an opportunity to read over for each school. Moving on to number 3, dropout reports, goal 1. The dropout report. Number 4, yes, ma'am.
I do have, actually, it's a request of the dropout rates, and I should have asked this 6 years ago. The exit codes, I have no idea what D05 or D11 means. Mm-hmm. Right, but what does D11 mean? Oh, okay. Mm-hmm, that was like overage or things like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, I was just curious.
It'll be in the personnel, when they do personnel reports. Any other questions?
Who would she need to send an email to get maybe,
Lawton, who do you think? Right.
okay?
Thank you.
Send an email to,
He gonna fix it. He gonna send it to you. Thank you, Lawton.
moving on to number 4, safety report, number of accidents in the school, goal 4. Board, do you have any questions concerning the, regarding the safety report? Okay, if no questions, we'll move on to number 5, superintendent update and reports, Dr. Labat.
All right. I'm gonna pull my mask down. When I've been traveling, I just try not to be next to Miss Cox when my back's off. We both have mothers. We're gonna get started with the mission statement of the Columbus Municipal School District. Very glad that it's a progressive, very progressive mission statement. And then our vision statement, which is student-centered, excellence-driven. Our drive, which is develop data-driven decisions to increase student achievement and growth, recruit and retain effective IT staff throughout the district. We did a really good job with that this month. I mean, the last 2 months of hiring people within our district to keep on with our goals and initiatives. Innovate strategies to improve parental community engagement, value fiscal prudence and transparency, and establish a safe environment for all students and staff. Drive, we have included input from students. We'll get that to you before the 25th. The students extensively gave us a lot of great feedback, so I will get that information to you all. It was very eye-opening for everybody, and we'll get that report to you, what the students felt about the strategic plan. I want to thank Monte Ewan for facilitating that with our kids and getting their feedback. You're going to see us do more of that with the innovative K-12 program that's on the agenda today, getting more information about their feedback. I know Mr. Sparks has mentioned that several times, and now we'll have a program that's digital that we'll be able to get those from each platform. So, good. All right. The only thing I had to add with the D was the Phonics First training, the principal boot camp, the summer professional development, which they all participated in. Bonnie comes every year to talk about fiscal and legal issues, and then our technology program, and then we've had extensive summer professional development with Phonics First training as a part of our literacy initiative. So our teachers are doing some really in-depth training this summer. One thing that was on the board agenda, if you remember, is that we're paying our teachers to do professional development when they're off contract. So that's been a real good initiative. So we've had teachers here all summer, so it's been great. Okay. Let's get to... All right. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm trying to get to the third grade reading gates. Excuse me. It's at the end. That's the third grade reading gate. Is right now our first. Oh, that's 54.2, and we're going to get to. Oops. Okay, here's 2022. So it was 52.6 last year, and it's 54.2 this year. And that's the first test. Remember we talked about that last month? I think Dr. Lee articulated it very well. And so you should have received that data in your Friday package about the third grade reading gate, but it went from 52.6 to 54.2. Now I'm going to talk about how many of the kids passed it after the second test. And I signed probably 20 or 30 good cause exemptions today. So now this year we have 74.7. And what I was trying to explain last week, but Dr. Lee articulated so well, is that I just feel that the 74.7 matters more than the 54.7 because it just matters that they know the content more than when they take the test. So right now we're at 74.7%. We have a lot more kids that have good cause that I signed for today. So we're hoping we don't have a lot of retentions there. So that's where we are. This is the D, the Develop Data-Driven Decisions. So our Summer Smart Academy is acceleration-focused program through kindergarten, high school, which means teaching grade level standards, having very strong experimental learning and activities for our students. We've really been focused on high engagement materials because of social emotional needs in the summer. You probably have seen some of the great things they're doing on Facebook. The kids are very engaged, and we have very, very, I think, creative programming this summer. We also, from one of the trips I took, we're creating ways to be more diverse in our program offering, not just Monday and Thursday. So the Fun Friday is about, if you don't come at all, at least you can come on Friday. Next year, we plan to add a technology component, maybe a virtual component. But we think the more diverse learning opportunities that we have for students, the more students will participate. So this year, the layer was normal summer school, Monday through Thursday, and then Fun Friday. And everybody can come to Fun Friday. So it's better than nothing, we feel. So next year, we plan to offer a virtual component that get more students to participate. We're trying to have very small class sizes. The sports camp and the social emotional learning opportunity and field trips have been absolutely amazing. If you'd like to come visit, just let us know. The High School Summer Academy is college, career, workforce, and armed service, preparing students for opportunity. They're doing college tours, guest speakers, and so on. And the next slide will tell you about some of their internships. This just explains Fun Friday and some of the other things we're doing. Different classes include fitness, cooking, entrepreneurship. I was very happy to see the petting zoo with the animals, a lot of animals with the kids. They're loving that. That's really great for exploratory learning. And we have partnered with Parks and Recs to ensure students are served. So We are helping Parks and Rec by bringing them over here to help them with some of the sports camp and working with our third-party third parties in order to meet the needs of our students. The OWL Academy, we're very happy with that. President Miller and I talked about this at Pilates and it came to action. But this is our OWL Academy, which our students that are getting college prepared, enrich ACT courses, and they're getting college life. I'm going to give you a testimonial on the next slide to kind of talk about how excited they are about our students attending that program. So we're really excited that we have 14 students participating in the OWL program through MUW. It started June 1st. The program director said our kids are doing extremely well in this program. We're also doing, today is the first day with our collaboration with Friendly City Books. That's been a really good partnership for literacy with another third party. And the students are going to continue to meet throughout the summer to kind of talk about books. So it's been really good. Hope Credit Union, we talked about this relationship before. Our students are learning financial literacy. We had a meeting with them last Thursday. They are out of Jackson, and we will also be providing opportunities for home loans for our teachers, a credit union within the school district, and that MOU will be forthcoming. We'll get it to you. And it's only going to be an option for teachers, but 3% interest on checking account, which is unheard of, so really good stuff, and low interest home loans for our teachers. So trying to build the housing market and give them opportunities to borrow money and be able to buy homes in the area. So that will be forthcoming. But they're also working with our high school students. And then Jackson Public Schools, they have a bank. And so we're hoping to facilitate that same kind of program here, that our kids are learning financial literacy. And we also want to make that part of the outreach. If you heard me talk about the Hunt redevelopment, that's part of the plan also, is to give that kind of training to our community members. Students will participate in job shadowing opportunities with Miller Tire and Columbus Brickyard this summer. So a lot of them are working with internships. Additional summer program just goes over students participating in Habitat for Humanity. We have students that are reading The Lucky Ones. Remember when the author came to the district? They will be doing that this summer. I forgot, they will be going to West Point. West Point has a physical location for Hope Credit Union, so after their financial literacy training, they will be going there. And have a little bit more about Friendly City Books, and we are trying to remove as many obstacles to make sure students have transportation to where they're going. So it was tough to bring our buses in. Thank you to Dr. Dito and Mr. Payton, people that took that over really quick, but it really has provided us versatility in the district to be able to get our kids places that we probably would have to outsource or pay a lot of money to get them where they need to be. And the only thing we had to add is today we had asked by MDE to be a part of the Focus magazine for our Mississippi Professional Growth System and all the initiatives we're doing for teacher retention. So I'll be sending them a quote, and they're going to be using pictures, so they're so excited about our Future Teachers program and all the work we're doing to train our teachers on the growth system. So we'll be featured in that magazine, and once it's released, we can get married to kind of get that out to you. Okay. Nothing new there. And Ms. Gardner mentioned the John Hopkins and U.S. Department of Education in middle school. And we have 5 of our schools participating in the TVA Energy Right Partnership. They talked about that met last week, and we'll be working with Columbus Light and Water. This also gives our principal opportunities to meet people outside the spectrum of education and be exposed to other professions. And it's been really good for them, trying to give them as many opportunities to get out of the realm of Columbus and Starkville and meet other people and explore. A lot of them are taking trips to Atlanta this summer. That's very important for growth and professionalism and leadership. So excited about that. And Gartner has done a really good job with the U.S. Department of Education program. That's a strong research program, and I think she's doing a great job with that. That's the financial. Okay. Establish safe environment for all students. These are our statistics for Our students, we had 10 kids shot, 14 students arrested, charged involved in shooting. We had 1 fatality. And then we had record expulsions for zero tolerance offenses and fights this year. We just discussed that in detail. These are the things that we are doing. We're doing parent support groups that's being done by a third party. Which is, it's hard to get parents if kids have been shot to come in because it's a very emotional situation, but the program is there, and that's through community counseling. We have Adopt the Block. We do have a life coach who's been working with our at-risk students consistently, which is very awesome. Most districts don't have that. Our community action meeting, we call them action meeting because we don't want you to just come and talk about what you're doing. You got to talk about what you are doing and what you're doing to assist students. And then we've really increased our third-party relationships with people in the community, bridging everyone together so we can all work towards the same direction. The things we need to do in 22-23 school year. I'm going to say this, is probably going to be just as tough as a year as it was this year. I've talked to my colleagues all over the country. This was tougher than both of the first 2 years of COVID. This full year was the hardest. I can't explain why. I don't know if we were going full throttle, but this year was the toughest. The March to May was tough. The hybrid was very tough, but this year was probably the toughest year of my career. And when I talked to my colleagues across the country, it was pretty tough. I am not a doomsday person, but I think with some of the issues that are going on in the country, and schools are only a microcosm of our community environment, that just expect tough year. But we're going to be ready as we can be with what we know now and what we're dealing with. And so the things that we're going to add is more therapy support for teachers. I learned that in a very difficult and complex way. I apologize to our teachers for not having enough services. We only had 1 person, and our teachers want privacy, so we're probably going to do people that are outside of the area, try to get people that are on demand, that they can talk to verbally, maybe on the phone or conference visit. But they need it not only for the pandemic, but also for the dealing with the shootings, and they've asked for it. And so we're going to work towards that with our ESTA dollars. We are also putting in the budget to hire an additional social worker. We really don't have enough. 1 for 3,300 students is really not enough. And so adding another social worker is going to be great for the district. We're going to have continued SEL training and make sure we work with all of our non-certified employees to continue to do that really, really well. We are working on restorative justice, and so that's going to be a big important. Some of the things we talked about earlier among us are some of those things that we're doing as far as our restorative justice is concerned, looking at things and really trying to get them back in school and looking at why they made the decision. Our life coach helps with that too. They help about emotion and decision making. And then we have the SEL program with the U.S. Department of Education. And that's it. Any questions?
Thank you.
I do have a question, Dr. Lovat.
Okay.
Is there any way, you named quite a few ongoing programs and initiatives, and they sounded really great, but it's hard for parents to know that we have these ongoing initiatives and programs. Is there any way this information can be put on the website?
Sure. What particular program?
I mean,
Talking about the social, the violence or the...
more so like, you named it several, it's in the slides. I would have to look at the slides, but it was more so dealing with what's going on with the students, the parent initiative, you named about 3 of those. And you had several programs, particularly for students, from the middle school, the John Hopkins information. It was a lot of information.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you said that because the students are saying that too, that they're not getting as much information. And so we're hoping to innovate K-12, getting that on the website. And we talked about it as an admin group. Communication is something that's always can be better. Communication is something that can always be better, but our students said the same thing. So you're gonna see that in our poll, in our student response. So we are gonna work more diligently to get that on the website and try to communicate that better. They also asked, could they help run the website? We're just gonna let them do it. We're gonna let them do it because I think that would help a lot, is them engineering it. I'm sure Lawton is red over there and Mary is red, but the school is for the kids. And we're gonna have to try to find a way to allow them to really get entrenched in not only the website and help look at them, and the website, but also maybe some of the social media stuff. I have, in some of the places I've gone, the schools I've visited this year, I've seen Twitter and Facebook accounts that are totally controlled by kids, and guess what? They're doing an amazing job. And so I know it's scary, but the more we allow them to be, look at Holly's face. We have to let go and allow them to do some of these things. And I think if we show them a way, give them the responsibility, we'll never know if they can do it unless we allow them. And then they're learning the skill, and I think it would just really help with our kids feeling that they have the communication and that the school district is about them. So I'm sure I look at Lawton's face, but that's good. We are going to find a way, and I'm going to put that on Mary and on getting that on the website, a place that they can have all this thing in a consistent, regular way, and a way for our students to get it, because they said the same exact thing in their feedback with strategic plan, is that they want more of that. So yes, thank you. We will do that.
You know, that's good to hear, because I'm reminded of one of the conferences that we attended. I believe it was virtually, and they had the student panel. We came back and shared with you all about the student panel. I think it was about 8 students from different school districts. And what they were sharing is how they are actually engaged in doing the websites through the VOTEC, the different kids they had. And I think a couple of them even shared, you know, to the online to us exactly what they have been engaged in. Are there any other questions, board? Any other questions? Okay. I'm gonna stroll back and find my spot again. Okay, now we're at item 8, the open forum policy, BCBD. Do we have anyone, Chief Brown? We have attached our board policy to this particular item on the agenda for us to have clarity on exactly what the school district's policy says in regards to public comments for an information purposes for our stakeholders, parents, and community. Okay. We have Miss Bailey. I may say the name wrong, Shanae? Okay, Shanae Bailey. How are you, Mrs. Bailey?
I am great. How are you?
I'm fine. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks so much for allowing me to come back and speak again. I was here a few months ago talking to you about my 2 children with autism and our trips to Tupelo to the Autism Center. I'm not here to talk about that tonight. One thing that just caught my attention during the superintendent's report, as she discussed all the wonderful initiatives and programs that the district has, I don't think I heard anything dealing with special education. And that's a concern, because it shows that its level of importance is not up there where it needs to be, because that is a very large segment.
And I apologize for that, but we include all of our students. I'm a big person with equity, so I would never segregate them or separate them. So they're included in all of our programs. Thank you very much.
Sure. And my point is that in listening, none of those programs that were mentioned, I recognized as something that would have been a special education program where it may have been lumped in. That's perfectly fine. It just appeared to me, and this is my opinion, that all of those programs were geared more so toward mainstream children. And I think that the current condition of our special education department demands more. And I'm not here tonight to talk about any specific person, but I do have in hand a petition that's been signed by between 75 and 80 parents. And while it has a specific name on it that I'm not going to discuss, it is an indicator to me that parents are concerned enough about the special education department and its current predicament, that they would go through the steps to put something like this together and attempt to bring it to you tonight. Of course, because it was dealing with a specific person, that request was denied. And Dr. Labat's secretary did reach out to me directly and asked if I was available to meet with her to discuss that personnel matter. And initially, I did schedule that meeting, but I called back and canceled. And I'll tell you why I canceled. When I was here 2 months ago speaking to you all were gracious enough to give me your attention. But Dr. Labat did not. She was
In
looking
all
down-
due respect, ma'am, I have a family and I had a family emergency.
Sure.
And so from your perspective, that may have been the vantage point. But if my son and my mother calls now, and in the situation I was in that now, I'm going to answer my phone. I'm going to walk out of here for my family.
That's fine. But as a person that's here speaking, I was not given consideration, the respect of Dr. Labat's attention, and I was not even here to speak to you. But it would have been nice to have that attention.
And in all due respect, we had a meeting scheduled today. I was waiting to call to meet with you, and we can meet anytime. So I was waiting for you at 4 o'clock. I called Mr. Hempfield and said, didn't show up. I didn't know you weren't going to call, but
I
if
did
you want to
call.
schedule a
I
time.
called and left your secretary, Thelma, a message I left a message.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, to the topic at hand that I wanted to discuss with you tonight, and again, and these are just my opinions, I believe that our special education department is, for lack of a better term, on life support. And when I say life support, I say that for specific reasons, because we are about to have our 4th special education director in 5 years. As I have observed, the staff is razor thin, and parents, as indicated by this petition that we have here tonight, don't have the required measure of trust in the staff that their children are going to receive the services that they need. Now, I can give you some horror stories about things that have happened to my child, where she has been exposed. I'm not going to give that to you tonight. I'd love to talk to you individually about those things, but things that put my child in danger. But I do want to talk to you about what I thought Dr. Page was the special education director. I don't know if you all remember her. I think she came.
Excuse me,
Mhm.
excuse me, Ms. Bailey.
This was a great
Hold
story.
on one moment. Let me say this real
Sure.
quickly, okay?
Sure.
All right. There's one thing that I've learned, and I'll say this. I've been a special services director for a long time before I retired. So I can sort of follow you from where you're going.
Okay.
Okay. Now, respectfully, as a board member, I have learned a different set of guidelines and regulations as to myself on the board, okay? Now, I'm saying this because I want you to understand, and I hope I'm not stepping out of place, am I? Okay. See, I have to go back and check myself because sometimes I get a little hit on my hand too. Now, calling names,
Okay.
little tap on the hand.
I
Okay.
apologize. I apologize.
And with that said, is one thing that we've been taught, and it is in the policies. And as the chairperson or the board president or whatever title that they give you when you sit in this seat, I'm responsible for conducting and carrying out this meeting respectfully, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, with that being said, we do understand, and I can see where you are. I don't know about the other board members, but sometimes you can say just a little bit, and it can go a long way. And one thing in the policy, it says it's the 3 minutes. All right, I let you went and you talked because you sit here respectfully and listened and waited on an opportunity. Okay? Now, at this time, I know the policy says if you would like to move any further, you schedule time with our superintendent. And I am requesting that you please do this. I can't elaborate on this anymore.
Okay,
I think I've
Absolutely.
probably said more. Am I
You're-
appropriate, Mr.
you are.
Hemphill? Where are we with this?
Well, Ms. Bailey and I, we've exchanged emails, and that's pretty much the advice that I've given her to, to go through the superintendent. This board does not hire or fire except upon recommendation of the superintendent. They don't discipline. You act on recommendations, and and I think the concern is for a certain person in a certain position, then that position is going to have to go through the superintendent, which I communicated to Ms. Shanae.
And I
And
wanted to go
we can meet tomorrow. I'll clear my schedule, and you can call Ms. Velma. I'll make time tomorrow.
Yeah, and I wanted to go a different direction, but if I just may make one final statement before I have my seat, please. May I
One
have-
final statement.
Okay. I would just bring to the board's attention how we've gotten here in the last 3 of the 4 special education directors. They've been recommended by Dr. Labat. What assurances were you given that she was going to take this department in the direction that it needed to go? Please consider that.
Thank you. Thank you. Moving on to item 9. Office of the Superintendent, Dr. Cherie Labat. School operations, superintendent travel reports, travel reviews. Dr. Labat, do you have anything to share tonight?
No travel.
Okay, she has no travel within the last month. We'll move to B, superintendent recommendations. Number 1, consideration and a discussion to approve data manager's job description. Requesting a motion to approve the data manager job description.
So moved.
The motion is made by Mrs. Young, requesting a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Sparks. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Moving on to item 3, consideration and a discussion to approve the staff personnel items. Requesting a motion to approve our personnel agenda for June 13, 2022.
So moved.
The motion is made by Mr. Sparks, requesting a second. I'm sorry. Was I going too fast? Oh, I'm sorry.
She okay?
Ms. Woodard, if you would note in the minutes that Dr. Brown has stepped out for consideration of the personnel agenda upon the council's advice.
Okay, Mr. Sparks made the motion. I can just start moving my head in 2 directions. Excuse me, you all look through the room. The second, was it second yet? If there was no second,
I'll
Dr. Shoemake?
second, yeah.
Dr. Shoemake makes the second. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous. You can come back in. Thank you, Dr. Brown, for reminding me. Moving on to item 10, Office of Business Management, CMSD Business Administrator, discussion the following items. Requesting the motion board, if you look at the financials, if you look at the monthly financial statement report, which is policy D1, would be I'm requesting a motion to approve number 1, items A, B, C, D, E, and F. Requesting a motion for approval.
So moved.
The motion is made by Mr. Sparks, requesting a second.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Young. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Moving on, if we're looking at item G, your monthly, our monthly ad valorem tax collection analysis report. Board, do you have any questions or concerns with the report at this time? All is well, requesting a motion to, no, we don't need to approve that, I'm sorry. We're moving on to H, the CMSD fund balance trends. Board, do you have any concerns? Item I, bank cash balance yearly comparison. The athletic event report. Moving on to item K, consideration and a discussion to approve the budget amendment. Board, I'm asking for a motion to approve number K, I, M, N, sorry. K, I, M, and N.
L.
That's an L. Okay. You all, I'll be so glad when my eyes clear up. I'm catching it with this stuff. Yes, it is. K. Say your ABCs, Ms. Cox. LM. Requesting a motion to approve these 4 items.
So moved.
The motion is made by Mrs. Young, requesting a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Sparks. Any discussion? Dr. Shoemaker.
Well, there we go. On the claims docket, 348048. Oops, that's that. That was Abdul Kabir Kareem. Is that a reimbursement? Okay, I must have missed seeing it was a reimbursement. That was for $882.90.
What's the number again? 34 what?
It's right at the top.
34040.
I think that's a catering with athletics.
Yeah, it's
34.
athletic
Yes,
game
it's catering.
meal.
It's catering for athletics.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that was
athletics.
Miss Helen's
Yeah, I
Kitchen?
forgot about that. Yes.
34. Oh, okay.
That,
know
I
what
mean,
you're saying.
was that Miss Helen's Kitchen? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
One of the things,
One of the main, perfect. That's what I thought. I just wanted to check and see. All right, I think that was,
It says meal up under it.
I gotta get my eyes fixed too. Thank you.
Oh, man, this is so funny. I'm still looking. Okay. So it's resolved.
4th item down.
I'm scrolling down.
Ms. Young got me on the right place.
All right, the motion has been made by,
Ms. Young,
Ms. Young made the motion,
Mr. Sparks seconded.
Sparks made the second, okay. Thank you. Any other discussion? If no discussion, all in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Okay. I'm going to, we're moving on to the consent, no, I'm not. I'm moving to item D, Federal Programs and IDEA Monthly Financial Review. Board, do you have any questions or concerns concerning the federal programs and IDEA monthly financial review? If no questions are concerned, we'll move on. Moving on to item number 11, consent agenda policy BCBL. And I'm going to pull this to me. Policy BCBL, consideration and a discussion to approve the following policies, and this will be tonight. To board, I'm asking for approval for A, rescind policy, B, new policies, C, reoccurring recommended policies, which is number 1 through 11. Requesting a motion for approval.
So moved.
The motion is made by Mr. Sparks, second by Mrs. Young. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Moving on to item B, consideration to approve agreements, contracts, MOUs, out-of-state travel, field trips, and student transfers. I'm looking at item number, and I'm sure, hopefully, that you all have read all of this and had an opportunity to review it. I'm looking at number 1 through 35. 1 through 35, board, on the consent agenda. Requesting a motion.
So moved.
Motion is made by Mrs. Young, requesting a second. I'll make the second. Any discussion?
I had a quick question.
Mrs. Young?
Number 27, for the IDEA assurances, will the, I guess this is a Holly question, maybe, I'm not sure.
27?
Uh-huh. Will
That's,
the proposal be presented, during the budget information, during the budget meeting?
Number 27.
Is it 27?
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Okay, these numbers changed. Okay, and it will be discussed during the budget workshop. Yes, ma'am. Okay, Dr. Shoemaker, did you have a question?
You said 1 through 35. I only see 34.
Okay, I'm looking at an old note,
Oh,
and I'm gonna
okay.
go down
That was
from
my
1
question,
through,
too.
let me scroll all the way down. Now it is 34,
Four.
1 through 34.
Okay.
I'll make the correction.
That was my question too. She got it.
Yeah. I got a bad habit of printing it out and rolling with it.
Right, 'cause my paper one says 34. Okay. Good deal.
Oh, and I did
Dr.
that.
Shoemaker?
Yeah, the handbook. That's in there
Handbook. Let's stroll up.
that's in there somewhere, right?
Let's find it.
Yeah. It's,
Number 8, thank you. I
Number
noticed when I was reading through it, there were several things in yellow. Are those,
Those were the changes that were made, I just highlighted in yellow so you could then notice what we did, certain things changed.
okay, thank you. I wasn't sure whether that meant it.
That's gonna come out once we do the final copy, final draft.
Great. Thank you.
And thank you for doing the handbook before you left.
Any other questions, concerns? The motion has been made by Mrs., the motion has been made, or did I request it yet?
You did. Young and Cox. You
Okay,
seconded it.
Young and Cox, I did second it. If no other discussion, all in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, thank you all. That was a big number, wasn't it? Sorry for that, maybe we'll break it down next time. We're moving right on to, the date to remember, policy BCBD, the academics. Okay, the 4th of July is July 4th. The board meetings, July, we do not have a trustee review meeting in July, no trustee review meeting in July. However, on the 11th, our board meeting, our regular board meeting, during this board meeting, the board will approve our dockets, and I will make request for us to go into recess until July 19th at 6 o'clock in order for us to address all other agenda items. Just making a note of that.
Yeah, and board, the reason for that is Dr. Labat will be out of pocket at that time. Ms. Cox and I
Oh,
have
yes,
discussed
I'm
that earlier.
sorry.
Yeah,
Dr.
I didn't know
Labat
if they knew why
won't
we
be able
wanted
to
to do that.
attend the board meeting. So we will be, just meeting on the 11th to address the docket. And then on the 19th, Dr. Labat will be in attendance, and we will continue, come from recess.
And I advised Ms. Cox that was the best way, instead of calling, adjourning and then calling a special meeting. Of course, special meeting, you're limited in what you can handle with a recess. If there are other items to occur between the time of the board meeting, they can be added to the agenda.
Would you have any concern? Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Schumate.
I seem to be chatty tonight, sorry.
That's all
Under,
right.
it's not really under academics, but I noticed you've got July 4th is Independence Day. Should we not add Juneteenth if we're going to do holidays? I mean, it's now a national holiday, so I was thinking, I think it's being celebrated on the 20th, even though it's Sunday, the 19th.
Yes, we will definitely acknowledge that as a holiday. So forgive
Thank you.
this new holiday.
What's our
Such
first
an
year?
important holiday for us. So we'll add that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
I didn't,
Dr. Schumate.
sure. Mm-hmm,
Juneteenth.
mm-hmm. It's a
It's
federal
a federal
holiday, yeah.
holiday now.
Okay,
June 20th. Yeah, that is. Thanks, Dr. Schumate.
sure.
Okay, now we're moving on to item, the next item on the agenda. I don't even know if I have it numbered right. Let me scroll on down. Oh, then. Okay, item 12, requesting a motion for close determination for executive session.
So moved.
Motion is made by Mrs. Young. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay. The board is in consideration for executive session. I'll be out momentarily. Yes, sir. I will, because I didn't announce them out there. Yeah. We're back in our regular session. The actions were taken in executive session. We had discussion on personnel matters and our minutes for May 2nd, 2022. The general meeting executive session minutes were approved. Now we're moving on to item 15, requesting a motion and a discussion to approve administrative recommendations, excluding the pending certification recommendations. The motion is made by Mrs. Young, requesting a second. Second by Dr. Shoemake, in discussion. If no discussion, all in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Requesting a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
The motion is made by Mr. Sparks, requesting a second.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Young. That was you, right, Ms. Young? Mrs. Young, any discussion? I can't hear their voices over there. All in favor, please raise the right hand. It's unanimous. Thank you. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience and waiting with us this afternoon. Please have a blessed evening.